and I'm the superintendent of school. You are?
Rory Spencer.
Nice to meet you, Rory. You excited about today?
Yes.
Ah, that's great. Why are you excited?
Because Hallowell's a great school and you should be celebrating.
Absolutely. 50 years. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Outstanding. How about you? Katie? Dr. Griffin. Are you excited about today?
Mm-hmm.
And why are you excited about today?
Hallowell's turning 50.
We're having Hallowell's 50th birthday. This is about our school turning 50 with all the other people from 1961 that are here.
We had a lot of artifacts that I didn't even realize that we had from over the years. So as we started to do more research, I realized we had scrapbooks full of newspaper clippings, for example, from the 60s. 50 years ago, all sorts of pictures. Letters that children had written. We wanted to make sure all that went out. So as we started to leaf through it and look through it, we want to make sure that other people get a chance to experience what we did in the summer when we went through it. We were speechless because as we went through it, it just brought back so many things and memories and opportunities for us to have great discussions about what our school meant to people 50 years ago and today. So based upon that, we wanted to put it together in a way that allowed people to tour our building. Some of the folks that were here today, they hadn't been in our building in many, many years. I wanted them to see all parts of our building. So when you put those displays and you put them way at the end of the hallways, it causes people to go through all of our hallways and know that they are welcome here. That it's not just that they come into our all-purpose room, but they can come through our school because they're a part of this story. And when we talk about the three themes and that idea of honoring the past and celebrating the present and imagining our future, the charge to each grade level was, look, here's what we want to do. Here's the theme. I want you to use your creativity, use your experience, use your expertise, come up with something that you know your children are really going to love to do that's going to add to this celebration. And what was amazing is we didn't give a whole lot of ideas to folks. We didn't really compare notes. And the different activities and things that the teachers came up with were so broad and varied, and it was all natural. It was all done naturally. And that's the part that really, really warmed my heart, is that we had the ability to put together so many different activities and to do so in a way that really seamlessly tied to the themes that we had set up in the summer.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mr. Steve Glaze. I'm the principal of Hallowell. I am so excited for today. I know all of you are. We are so excited that we have the opportunity to do what we are doing today, to honor our past, to celebrate our present, and to imagine our future as Hallowell turns 50. Before we begin, I want to take a quick moment for some introductions. From our school board of directors, we have joining us this morning Mrs. Deb Mullen, and I believe Mr. Lou Polineski is here as well. Team members from Central Administration, Dr. Curtis Griffin, our Superintendent of Schools, and our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Monica Taylor, and Mr. John Nodecker. Township, Mr. Bill Walker, our Township Manager, is with us this morning. What was life like 50 years ago? Well, back in 1961, the average income was a little over $5,000 a year. Cost of a new car, $2,200. You want a house, $12,500 on average. A gallon of gas would cost you a quarter, and a loaf of bread was 21 cents. In 1961, the Cold War worsened with the Soviet Union, and the invasion of Cuba by rebels trained by the United States was seen as a huge disaster, and the construction of the Berlin Wall began. President John F. Kennedy asked Congress for $531 million to put a man on the moon. The Soviets put the first man in space. His name was Yuri Gagarin, followed by us with Alan Shepard. He blasted into space for a 20-minute ride. Pampers, the first disposable diaper, was introduced. Johnson & Johnson introduced Tylenol, and Coke introduced the drink Sprite to compete with the drink 7-Up. The yo-yo became the newest craze and was the largest selling toy. And a man by the name of Ray Kroc, he bought out the McDonald's brothers and took control over a little-known hamburger chain. A couple of famous movies from 1961, 101 Dalmatians, and the best picture of the year that year was West Side Story. Some popular TV shows, The Twilight Zone, and Mr. Ed, the Incredible Talking Horse. Some famous people who were born in 1961. Yes, our president, Barack Obama. Actors Michael J. Fox, Meg Ryan, George Clooney, among others. In September of 1961, children from this community were excited to come to their new school, come to our school, Hallowell. They wanted to learn. They were excited to see their friends and meet their new teachers. They probably weren't too excited about doing their homework, but they did it anyway, because they knew that education was important. The things they learned at Hallowell back then, like treating people with respect, being a good citizen and student, and giving your best efforts in your work, carried them and stayed with them all throughout their lives. And so, as things change, they remain the same. Let's begin our program.
Hello there. My name is Amy Garrett. I'm here to talk about Horsham history. There were 4 individuals that owned the entire township when it was started. They were Mary Blunston, Samuel Carpenter, Joseph Fisher, and George Palmer. However, there was only one of those that actually, their family lived in Horsham Township, and that was the Palmers. The township got the name because Samuel Carpenter originally came from Horsham in West Sussex, England, which is south of London. And because of that, they decided to name Horsham after his family's place. The picture you're looking at now is actually the 3rd Quaker meeting house or church of Horsham Meeting. The first 2 were across East Road, the first meeting house being a small log building, the second a small stone building that sat right next to the log one. The structures that you're seeing to the left in the picture is an old carriage shed, which is where they keep their horses and carriages during meeting for worship. The dirt road in the lower left corner is Drescher Road, which then becomes meeting house across Eastern Road. The dirt road that is kind of below the trees and the post is known as by 2 names. Norristown Road, and the other is the Old Horsham Road. The picture showing now is the trolley tracks in the foreground. The trolley tracks went from Philadelphia to Willard Road, and then from Willard Road to Doylestown at one time. But during World War II, the tracks were taken up so that the steel could be used for the war effort. This picture is the first schoolhouse in Horsham Township. It was a school that was started by the Quakers, but anyone could go to there. Did not have to be Quaker. It was used by the Quakers until 1929. However, because the township had then their own schools, and declining in students, the school was closed. The public schoolhouse, there used to be a public schoolhouse across the graveyard on Homestead, where it enters Norristown. The school had been outgrown, but before the new school was finished, the school district rented the Quaker schoolhouse for about a year. The new Horsham School was located between Columbia and Girard Avenue. That school was then replaced by the current school you're sitting in.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Griffin, and I'm the superintendent of schools. And first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Steve and all the individuals here today that put this celebration together. I also would just like to take a second. As I came in this morning, I was approached and informed we actually have some board members who are here today that were part of the board that were in place when this school was built 50 years ago. So could those board members please, school board members, please stand up? Can we give them a round of applause? Especially for the adults in the room, boys and girls, you might not understand this, but 50 years ago when this building was built, the price tag was $541,000, which was a big number in those days. But to build a building that lasts for 50 years and provides the education facility is a phenomenal feat. So to those board members, thank you for the forethought and the wonderful job that you did. I also want to say is, we talk about some memories. What's amazing, boys and girls, I walked down the hall, and it took me all the way till I got to the 1960s section to find the place where I was when I was your age. You're not going to believe this, but do you know in 1960 there were not video games? I know! There wasn't even cable TV. The smartboards that you have in your classrooms today and the computers, they didn't exist. And so one of the challenges that we have is that I hope that you would think about with your teachers as you look about the history and say, where have we been at Hallowell in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, but where will we be in the future and what will our school look like? And because I was asked to share upon memory, I just want to take a second and tell you what I see about Hallowell Elementary School and what I've noted over the last 10 years in the district. And that is this incredible sense of pride and community that I see from our parents working in the PTO, from our teachers and their work, and from our students. The students are always excited to share. When I ask them, where did you go to elementary school? The first people that will step up will be the Hallowell students and say, I went to Hallowell Education School, elementary school. So I hope that all of you continue to take that pride with you. I'm enjoyed to be here and be part of this celebration, and I wish you and all of us the continued success at Hallowell Elementary School.